Hi, I'm Dr. Moskowitz. I'm going to be speaking a little bit about one of the most common topics of newborns, infants, and toddlers, and that's the common challenge of sleep. The approach to sleep differs with different age groups. First, we'll talk a little bit about the very young child. I happen to be a big believer in sleep myself. I enjoy that immensely. And I feel it's an important thing for parents to understand and to help their children with as well. For one thing, to sleep is instinctual, but how you fall asleep is learned behavior. We could teach a child to fall asleep being rocked, being fed, being driven around the corner, watching TV. It's really important, and lots of recent scientific research has shown the best way for a child to fall asleep is by themselves. So initially we'll talk about the young child. Yes, you could start this as young as 1 month and 2 months and 3 months. The idea is really parents have to be ready for themselves to teach their child to sleep. As I mentioned, to sleep is instinctual, but how you fall asleep is learned behavior. One thing that's very important about sleep is to develop a routine, to establish a routine. And a routine could be very simple things. Sing a song, say a prayer, read a book. Reading a book is really a great idea. But notice, nothing to do with rocking or feeding. That really should not be part of the sleep routine. So my advice for a young child, say, is you pick a time. 7, 8 o'clock is the time that I feel is appropriate for a young child. You pick a time, you feed them, say, at about 7 o'clock, and then 7:30 you do your routine. Sing a song, say a prayer, read a book, and you lay them in their crib. They could be drowsy, but their eyes must be open. When you lay them down, they're going to fuss. There's no question that they're going to fuss, but nothing will happen to them. They'll be fine. They won't have stopped breathing. They won't have any medical issues, and they will fuss. And I feel that you should let them fuss just for a few minutes. After fussing for a few minutes, you go back into the room, reassure them. But one issue very important is not to pick them up. If you pick them up, you break the cycle of them being able to calm themselves and go to sleep. The first night you do this, you're going to want to shoot me. But the second night you do this, you'll see it'll work better. The third night better. And the fourth and fifth night, I promise you'll have a sleeping child. The idea is that to allow them to go to sleep. However, if you go in after the first night and they fuss for 10 or 20 minutes, what happens is you break the cycle, and the second night you try to do this, you'll be extending the time. So one thing that's very important is to understand that you must make the commitment to go through with allowing them to fuss until they go to sleep. How long the first night? Some children a little shorter, some children a little longer. But the key part is that they fall asleep by themselves. The benefit of this is that A, they'll learn how to put themselves to sleep. B, when they wake up in the middle of the night, they'll learn how to put themselves back to sleep. C, during the day when you need them to take a nap, you lay them down, you take a nap. And D, you'll make all your friends jealous because your child will be a great sleeper. But most importantly, the most recent literature and the scientific studies show how children who sleep do better intellectually, emotionally, and developmentally. So it's really important to get a child to fall asleep by themselves.